All right, hello. It's me again. We're here talking about another chapter, chapter 16. I am getting a little bit of an itch to go back to one of the boxes. I mean, it's been fun digging in each chapter and seeing the connections and stuff like that. But I'm also keeping an eye and an ear on the Discord, and I'm like, I want to get back into some of the boxes. So I don't know. We'll see. I may take a day or two break and do some more stuff in the boxes before I go back to the chapter by chapter. We'll see how it goes, right? I'm always playing it by ear, building it in the air, as it were. Okay, so chapter 16 is going to be the topic today, and the title is 1996 Atlanta Olympic Gold Medal, Defy Expectations. Is what's written. We got two quotes here, and as I said in my last video, I think this is what we call a sister chapter, a brother chapter, a twin chapter to the one before it, and that's reiterated and confirmed in the end of this chapter, and that's on page 150, and where second last paragraph, JCB even says these last two chapters. All right, so similar to the same thing was kind of said at the end of the gold chapters, which would be the Spanish galleon that sunk, treasure galleon, and then the San Francisco that are back to back. So these two Olympic ones are back to back. I think there's a couple of connections in between. I would say I got 2 or 3 things from this chapter, and none of them is, oh my God, now we have a place, let's rush out and go boots on the ground. We're still going to build, we're still going to need to take some time when all the chapters are done to put it together and see what we have. I do see some more colors in this one though, so we're back on the color train. All right, so I guess we can start in the beginning. On the second page, 143 at the very top. All right, this is what caught my eye the first time. Here we go. The 1996 Atlanta Olympics provided plenty of memories, some record-breaking, one tragic, and another odds-defying. All right, so at first when I read that, I put that in the back of my mind. I'm thinking, okay, I'm waiting to hear what those are in the story. But the next couple pages, they're all focused on the Nigerian team and their story, which I would classify as odds-defying, because the next sentence after that one, still on page 143, is the latter is a story woven from pure fairy tale yarn, texture with tons of drama, ending with an ending spun of gold. All right, which that is kind of a call to the Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale. Right? Did I say that right? Rumpelstiltskin. Yarn, textured, in ending spun of gold. If you're not familiar with the Rumpelstiltskin, as best as I can recall, it's a lady trapped and she has to spin gold from her hair. I don't know. I really should have I should have looked that up, but I might throw that in the ending here, with editing and all that. Anyways, so okay, going back, let me consolidate my thoughts here. 1996 Atlanta Olympics provides plenty of memories, some record-breaking, one tragic, and another odds-defying. All right, so I would say the record-breaking calls back to the last Olympic, and even brings in Muhammad Ali. Tragic, we don't know yet. Odds-defying is this one, right? Is the story of the Nigerian team. So that means we're looking for one tragic story. Because, I mean, the way I figure it is, if he's going to introduce something in the book, which he's done that before, going back to the chapter where it talks about California, and it mentions a book and you have to go find the book. So this is kind of, in my mind, as I'm going through this, I'm like, okay, well, record-breaking, we know that one. Tragic, we're looking for it. And odds-defying is the story in the chapter. So if you type in 1996 tragic story Olympics, you get the bombing, right, which I had forgotten when I was reading, but now when I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, the Richard Jewell movie by Clint Eastwood that just came out a couple years ago. And then I had to kind of take a pause. Would JCB use such a solemn moment, such a somber moment, such a tragic moment to like slip a clue in? I don't know. The whole book seems very, Disney, PG. I mean, yeah, he uses the word sperm in this chapter, and there's talk of sex in one of the next ones, but I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, there's no mention in this chapter of the tragic story other than he kind of leads in the 1996 Olympics provides plenty of memories, right? Which I don't know if why he would even bring that in, and I'm going to talk about this for the next couple minutes. I think it deserves a little bit of attention because there's two ways you could have done it, right? You could have introduced the 1996 Olympics, which he already did the previous chapter, talking about that was the Olympics where they presented Muhammad Ali with another medal because he lost the first one. So you've already introduced the Olympics. So you could just say the Atlanta Olympics provided plenty of memories. All right. Some are record breaking and others odd defying. I know sometimes you want to list three things instead of two. I'm sure you could have found another thing. But to put in there one tragic, and maybe it's to the effect of if you don't acknowledge the tragedy that happened, you're kind of glossing over it. So maybe that was JCB's thinking. This would be a question for the chat here. I mean, do you think that it would have been disrespectful to not mention the bombing? So maybe that's why he had to mention the tragic. But he was very, I mean, it's just one word, tragic, right? There's no more details. So it's still kind of glossing over. I mean, you could have put another sentence or two in there somewhere about, the bombing. I don't know. Would that be a clue? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I certainly think at certain topics that are very charged, very emotional, like the bottom of page 144, right? Where the motel staff is refusing to clean the laundry for fear of AIDS. I mean, that's racist, that's prejudiced. I mean, and so do I think that, he slips that in part of the story, but I'm not looking for a clue there, right? I mean, I just think that it'd be inappropriate in my mind. I mean, I'm trying to think, as much as he seems to be avoiding liability, or protecting himself from liability, not avoiding liability, and cautioning us and urging caution and all that. I guess we'll have to analyze his actions and how he acts in podcasts, who he uses for podcasts, the words that he uses, his humor, to see if, that would be fair game. But it's just interesting to me. I got hung up on that for a while. Listing the three things, three memories, right? Record breaking, tragic, and odds defying. We already know record breaking. We already know odds defying. We don't know what the tragic is. So we have to look it up because there's nothing in here that tells us what the tragic is. You look it up and it's the bombing, right? And then what do we do with that information? I don't know. So I wrote it down, put it in the back of my mind, and we'll see what happens. Moving on, we get into the colors because several times, twice, he talks about. I would say three times. I'll read it out. I'll tell it to you, and you let me know if it's two or three times. So at first he mentions when they go in to play Brazil, right? The stadium being filled with green and yellow, right? Because those would be the colors for Brazil. And then the next time when they get in their final match, we know Argentina's colors are it's like a light blue, baby blue, and white, right? So, but he talks about the stadium was filled with green and white, which would be their colors. So off of our color codes, right, which is maybe confirmed by the Olympic rings. Green is one of them, and yellow or gold, right? That could be another one. White, we don't really have anything for, and so those are the three ones that are mentioned. The other thing that I mentioned could be a color thing is when they're supposed to turn their jerseys inside out because their logo wasn't approved. Another thing I found pretty interesting is because I'm always looking for what is not said versus what's said. I think that falls into the black color. What's missing, right? What's the absence of light would be black. So what is missing? What information are we missing? Which is why I tuned into the tragedy, because he mentions it, but then doesn't go into detail. So it leads me to on a mini hunt, right? So I just had my train of thought. Oh, here we go. Super Eagles. So that team is known as one self-referential. They call themselves this. And there's a couple documentaries and books from their players and coaches and press at the time that refer to that team as the Super Eagles. Nowhere in the chapter is that mentioned. He would have had to come across that. And anytime nicknames are fun, right? I mean, anytime a team calls himself that, all right, you would feel like that'd be in the text. I mean, if you're going to dedicate a couple lines to the bombing, you surely should dedicate a couple lines to what they called themselves, the Super Eagles, right? I mean, we're over here describing, the cockroach-filled motel rooms and, them eating Chinese food the whole time. But but we don't notice, we don't acknowledge that they're called the Super Eagles. I don't know. That seems like it might be something. I haven't focused too much in the last chapters as to information that's not there or what's missing, which I may have to go back and see. But this one just seems to I don't know if egregious is the right word, but it's pretty major to me, right? All right. So now we go back. So we've got the colors. We've got the bombing, the tragedy, and then the bottom of page 150. Here's another. This would fall under the details, right? The word details we're looking for. Bottom of page 150, second to last paragraph. These last two chapters told remarkable American Olympic stories. Our next chapter provides a story about the origin of the United States itself. So again, this is one of those stretch segues, right? Okay, the Olympics are in America, American Olympics. Now we go into Washington, American history. It's not the best segue, but I get why he does it. And to me, I'm beginning to think that the orders of the books matter, the order of the chapters matter, the chapters number matter. That's why the segues are so rough, because you could have rearranged this and had an easier segue, but here we are. But let's focus on this first sentence again. These last two chapters told remarkable American Olympic stories. And this one wasn't an American Olympic story, it was a Nigerian Olympic story. And you'd be taking away from the country of Nigeria, which the chapter is all about. The pride for Africa. The whole continent of Africa was cheering for the Nigerian team. They were getting calls from heads of state. I mean, everything they had to go through. I mean, their impoverished football organization, right? No funds. They can't even pay their coach. I mean, this is a big deal of pride, right? A Nigerian pride, and you're just gonna say, well, it's an American Olympic story, just because it took place on our soil. That seems, for someone who's trying to be so cautious, non-denominational with his religion, trying to avoid sensitive topics, the tragedy, right, avoiding the bombing. I just feel like that is either a mistake or there's significance there. I mean, again, here's another question for the chat. Let me know what you think about that. I mean, is that just, am I overanalyzing that sentence, or is there something there? Again, second last paragraph, page 150. These last two chapters told remarkable American Olympic stories. It's not an American Olympic story. It's a Nigerian story. It's their national team, right? I mean, they went through so much adversity, and to just take it away and say it's an American story. That's the typical ugly American overseas, right? We're whitewashing the history. This is American history. I don't know. That felt kind of odd, and it felt like that may be intentional, right? I mean, what is he trying to say here? Are we supposed to focus on the American cities? Are we supposed to focus on the American locations? I don't know. I mean, for sure, the chapter before that, okay, yeah, Wilma Rudolph, we'll take that as an American story, even though, I guess we can take that. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is, this will be a shorter one. See if we can make the 15-minute mark. Probably not. Where is the emerald? Where is the meeting between these two tectonic plates, right? Where is the mixing the chromium and beryllium or whatever and making something, right? So we're mixing two countries, right? We've got America, Nigeria. There's a bunch of countries listed. I mean, are we supposed to look for details in those? I don't know, because for the most part, the Nigerian story, as far as I can verify online on Wikipedia, like everything happened. He didn't take liberties. He's not intentionally saying a country wrong or saying a score wrong as far as a clue. So if I'm looking for three things out of this chapter, I'm looking at the colors. I'm looking at maybe the bombing. Richard Jewell, right? That was his name. That was the guy's name. Is this like a veiled reference with a reference? I mean, it's pretty deep. It's like 3 layers deep. It's like the tragedy, the bombing, a suspect, a famous suspect that was incorrectly, falsely accused, big payout, all to get the word jewel. I mean, that's kind of a lot of layers. I mean, hey, it is $1 million in prizes and whatnot, 6-figure box. So maybe, I don't know. I could be too hung up on that part. the last part, American story, right? I mean, maybe the fact that we're supposed to read that and we're supposed to jump out and say, hey, it's not an American story. Maybe that's the clue. He wants to get that reaction. So maybe we're supposed to focus on the countries that aren't America. Maybe we're supposed to key in on Nigeria. I mean, how obviously the box can't be in Nigeria, but what Nigerian connections, what cities have the largest Nigerian communities, what famous Nigerian restaurants, I don't know, cities, states named after Nigerian historical figures. Again, I'm not really sure. This video is more about kind of finding a couple things that peek out at the chapter and me sharing that with you, maybe having a little bit of dialogue in the comments and seeing where this leads to. Hopefully in 2 weeks I can finish up all the chapters and then we can try to put together what we've learned. Then take a little break. I can dig back in the boxes and then maybe do some more Joy Serenade. I haven't done that in a while. And then eventually a month or two later we'll come back and we'll do all the chapters again and see if we can either go another layer down or find some stuff that we missed or find some stuff that people have followed up on. Because I have appreciated some of the stuff in the videos people have followed up on, and they've come to either we can cross off our list, it's a dead end, or yeah, this is definitely something. All right, so that's a recap for this chapter. Again, I appreciate everybody who watches. We're getting a lot more comments, a lot of Discord, well, I mean, it is Discord, but a lot of back and forth in the comments, which I appreciate that. Everyone's keeping it civil. We're all sharing our ideas, so I like that. And if you don't want to share ideas, that's fine. You know, I'm out here putting it out there, so hopefully it leads you to a box or it leads you to a clue or some aha moment. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching these videos. The whole notification bell thing, I've subscribed to like 5 or 6 different people that I'm watching, and I'll admit I turned off the bell for some of them just because I don't want to keep getting notifications all throughout the day with this, with Discord, with my work, with other hobbies that I have, and other texts that I have with friends and family. It's just a lot. So I understand if you don't turn on the notification bell. Just, you know, a couple times a week just to check and see what I put out there. You don't need to have it right away. Okay, but yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye.
Now listen, all you treasure hunters, searching all around for plunder. Do you need some help to be your best? There's something that you're trying to find, but you're about to lose your mind. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Estes Quest, the show where he'll be sharing clues. Estes Quest will chase away your searcher's blues. He's solving puzzles with a smile. He'll help your theories pass the trial. He's welcoming you here to be his guest. Now listen close and you'll be told the clues to where he's hiding gold. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Come on, listen in